Welcome to Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity.
bodies. Another invisible pain, invisible hurt that we're dealing with is embarrassment. So many people are dealing with embarrassment. Something happened when they were a child, or something happened when they were a young person, and their neighborhood, their neighbors, their community you guys haven't let them live it down. They're still stinky winky. They're still, poopy petty. I mean, just crazy things. We have to let people grow. We have to allow people to heal from their past mistakes, from their past endeavors, and move on. But move on in love. Now, if the person brings it up, then that's totally different. But there's no need in you reminding people of all of the things that they've done incorrectly or unsuccessfully. Because remember, someone can also remind you of all of your endeavors. Maybe your list isn't as long. Maybe your list is longer. But the point is that aren't we supposed to be building each other up as opposed to tearing each other down? Isn't that what we said that we were going to do for this New Year's? That we were going to turn over a new leaf and we were going to be a better person. There's someone saying, Dr. Angela, I never made that promise. Well, maybe you should. Maybe you should try to be the best person that you could be. And in that, you're not contributing to the silent pains, to the silent ills that someone is out there dealing with. You never know what someone is going through. And if you were to put yourself in the other person's shoes for just a day, and experience what someone else is trying to experience or has to experience on a daily basis, you may understand while their silent hurts are affecting them, why they may be manifesting something in this physical realm that we're able to see that's really bothering them in a physical way, that's bothering them in a spiritual realm. And it's manifesting as a physicality now. I'm telling you, guilt can do that to you. Do you know a friend that something has happened to them and it didn't seem like it was that bad? It only happened about 3 or 4 years ago, but it looks like they've aged 10 years? That, my friend, is the pain of invisible hurt. Well, we need to take a very short break, but when we get back, we will continue our conversation of dealing with the pain of invisible hurt. I leave you with this, Dark Places in the Night by Lee Hidalgo. You can find him at authorleehidalgo.net, Facebook at author Lee Hidalgo. We'll be back right after this. Love can be beautiful. Love can be joyous. Love can be something that is absolutely intoxicating. But sometimes it can turn into something so much more. Sometimes there's some horrors of love that we need to talk about, that we need to deal with. Read the book Dark Places in the Light by author Lee Hidalgo. Love can be beautiful. Love can be a joyous thing. But sometimes it turns into something more. Dealing with the horrors of love. The book is entitled Dark Places in the Night. The author is Lee Hidalgo. You can visit him online at his website, authorleehidalgo.net. Yes, the word author is included in that website. So author Lee, that's L-E-E, Hidalgo, Hidalgo.net. And we are back. Thank you so much for joining me for Modern Living with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Tester. Today we are talking about dealing with the pain of invisible hurts. And sometimes life chooses not to make your invisible pains as important as the pains that they're able to see out loud. Sure, you broke your arm, and your arm's in a cast. Did you break your leg and your leg's in a cast? People are going to flock to you, because they can see that you are supposed to be in pain. They can see that something is wrong with you, and they have no problems coming over. But when it comes to our invisible pains, when it comes to our invisible hurts, people aren't so willing to always come over and lend a helping hand. Not just because they're not able to see that cast, but sometimes they just don't believe you, which leads to our next issue, and that is a lack of understanding. People just don't understand. And why is that? Is it that they choose not to understand? Is it that they think that you're just a flat out liar? Sometimes a lack of understanding is all of the above. People are just not familiar with your condition. They're not familiar with your symptoms. They don't know what it is. Sometimes people think that you are just a drama king or a drama queen and think that you're just putting extras on it, not realizing that you are really and truly going through something right now. A lack of understanding. And unfortunately, this lack of understanding has had its time in our medical world, in the medical field. This is true. This is true. Women used to be diagnosed with hysteria. They thought that they thought that PMS wasn't a real thing, so on and so forth. I'm sure there's something that you could yell out to and say, yeah, I remember when they didn't believe. Of course. We have made advancements in the medical field, and thank God for those advancements. But sometimes it is simply a lack of understanding. It is a lack of being able to relate to the person, and you just don't understand, so you dismiss it. Because it's easier to dismiss someone's pain. It is easier to dismiss something that you don't understand instead of investing your time and trying to figure out what is that other person talking about. I wonder, is it something to this thing? Oh, my poor friend, she's always talking about how she hurts or how people don't believe her, or she feels like no one understands. We need to take those conversations seriously, people. When we look at our youth today, so many of them are trying to have those conversations. No one understands me. But you don't understand, Mom. You don't understand, Dad. You don't understand, teachers. You don't understand. And they're really, really trying to get us to understand. Stop trying to compare your life to their life. Your time in high school is nothing like their time in high school. Let's just pause for a moment. I never had to think about someone coming in with any type of weapon into my school. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But that's something that our students are dealing with today. High school campuses, college campuses. We're even dealing with it in elementary school. That's something that we didn't have to think about. We didn't think about it. What? Absolutely not. So let's stop listening with our mature ears and let's try to listen with just our caring ears, just the ears of a friend, and hear what our students have to say. So that's one way that we really need to reach out and make sure that we are being a good friend. Now, those are the things that are really, really, really invisible, the things that you cannot see, and the things that some people, I don't know if I believe you, Dr. Angela. Well, let's talk about something that we know to be real, and that is fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, and arthritis. I'm lumping them all together, not that they deserve to necessarily be lumped together because they are all three very important things. But for time's sake, we are talking about something that doesn't always disfigure you, something that always, your fingers aren't always in pain, or your back or your neck or your knees, but it doesn't mean that your arthritis isn't real. It doesn't mean that your fibromyalgia is something that you're making up. It is a very real thing, folks. So if you know anyone that's suffering from any of those things, though they may be invisible, they are absolutely real in the life of the person dealing with them. So let's stop judging people. Let's simply start loving people, taking them for their word, and asking the question, what can I do to make your life better? Well, thanks everyone for listening to Modern Living with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Chester. I leave you with this. May the Lord continue to shine his face upon you. May you receive his grace and his mercy in all you do. The song you're about to hear is Jacaranda-Blue by Glen-Naylor and Chris Wilson. You can find them on bonza.com. Thanks everyone. See you next time.
Songbirds were calling and imploring the rider flew above to dance in the wind, tumbling through the warm delights of spring. I remember how it used to be when blossoms above surge, forming heavenly curves. I'll wait for for you beneath the jacaranda.